We are live. What's up, everybody?
Well, howdy do.
Hola.
Back again to take a look at some of the things happening in the beer world. I think we may have lost Crunch somewhere out there again, and another lost civilization, but he was supposed to be here. And we may have a few other people dropping by. I thought we were going to be probably at max capacity, but not sure what's going to happen. But a lot of people said they wanted to try to pop on, so we'll see what happens as we go through here. Rod J here in Cincinnati, along with another various cast and crew. And you guys can introduce yourself there. Start with Jay.
Howdy. I'm Jay or Ronald with Louisiana Beer Reviews.
And then we have Justin.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Justin from Poorly Reviewed Beer.
And then we have Eric.
Thomas Metal 75 on YouTube is the account name. I am doing the Massachusetts Beer Reviews channel of YouTube and the Massachusetts Beer Reviews group of Facebook. And I am out of southeastern Massachusetts, where we got over a foot of snow today. And yes, the beer is flowing today.
Yeah, so you're not going anywhere for a little bit of time.
Uh-huh.
And of course, one of our newest members added, Tom.
Well, howdy do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? Well, I'm in Springfield, Mo, as we speak. This is not my house behind me. As some have commented, this is a fake backdrop. No, I'm not fooling anybody, but I just like to change things up, man, because I'm just that way. Hey, so YouTube, you can find me as The Beer Whisperer. Facebook, I look up Tom the Beer Whisperer 1, and I have a website. It's tomthebeerwhisperer.com.
There you go. And then we may have some other people jumping on here at some point, so when they get in, they can actually introduce themselves. So we are now coming off of the Super Bowl weekend, heading into the next turn of sports, I guess, probably headed towards March Madness, probably the next big thing out there on the sports agenda. As far as anything with beer, I'm going to actually start off with one. And actually, Justin was asking me how I actually pronounce the name, but this is from Jackie O's Pub and Brewery out of Athens, Ohio. And I believe it's either the Chumalungma or the Comalungma, but it is a honey nut brown ale.
All right.
And this one is actually brown ale brewed with wildflower honey. So a nice sweet tasting brown ale, goes down very nice. I always let it warm up a little bit because you don't want to take it really ice cold right out of the fridge. It brings out more of the flavors, more of the aromas. I'm going to let it sit here for a few minutes before I put it into a glass. But Jackie O's, a nice fine brewery out of Athens, Ohio. What's anybody else drinking out there?
I was going to have a sour beer from Grimm, which is in New York State, but I realized I had an unopened growler from a week ago from, yes, once again, Trillium Brewing Company.
Just keep throwing it out there. Keep throwing it out there.
Yeah, this one is not a IPA or a pale ale. This one is actually their not night and day. That's one of their stouts. This one is called Pot and Kettle. It's an oatmeal porter, but they use cold brew coffee in this variety of the beer, and it's 7.5% alcohol by volume.
Very nice. Every time I think Trillium, I think juice, though. So they have some other things out there going on.
Yeah, a lot of the New England style IPA brewers do some pretty good stouts and porters as well. So
excellent.
Yeah.
What about anybody else drinking something they want to make mention
of? I've got a MILF, man. I was a little horny tonight, so I brought the MILF out again. Woo! I wanted something dark and tasty.
You love the MILF.
I like my beer just like my women, dark and strong.
I drank one of those today and I reviewed it.
Tom's a MILF lover.
I drank one of those major indoor lifting federation beers today.
It's one of the best spirit barrel-aged beers on the market, in my opinion. It's outstanding.
Very nice.
I drank it today and I scored it an A+.
And it's a real craft. It's not the one you got to stand in line for 4 hours on Black Friday. It's an actual craft beer.
I hear you. What about you, Jay? What are you drinking?
Well, I drank that the Major Indoor Lifting Federation beer today, and from Mother's Brewing, and I scored it an A+, the MILF, and it was very good. And I'll post that in a few days. It was outstanding, actually. Somebody sent that to me. But I'm drinking one from Shreveport that somebody gave to me. He gave me a 6-pack. I don't know why he didn't want it, but I didn't ask questions. It's called Reasonably Corrupt Black Lager. 5.5% alcohol, 30 international bitterness units. It's a black lager from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, Eric's on the sound effects.
I did a video review on this beer about 2 years ago. It's really delicious. Think about like Guinness Black Lager, but maybe with a little more robust character, flavor and aroma and body. But sort of like in that along those lines.
Okay.
With more alcohol.
And Justin is going to be our designated supervisor or watcher or whatever, because he's actually drinking that hard stuff, that H2O.
Oh no, that's just rust pipe.
Day 9 of Bruce 3 February.
This is Justin's cleansing.
9 days to go.
I've heard about those.
Gentlemen and women douching it. I ain't drinking it.
I've heard about those months before.
Yeah.
So, in looking at some of the stuff from this week, let's see, what did I take a look at? So, Ohio, because I'm actually in the Ohio area, they just had 40 more craft breweries added from this last year. From the previous, Ohio closed 2016 with 194 craft breweries in the state, up by 40 from the year before. Counting federal permit applications for breweries yet to open, Ohio rises to 236 as of today, with more surely to come. Meanwhile, the national account, as you guys all know, is well over 5,000, with breweries opening at a 2.1 per day clip. So is there a point where we may get to a saturation where there's just too many breweries happening?
I would say
no. The market's only going to hold so many. Yes, there are going to be some going out of business, but the macro industry has been floating these articles about the impending doom of craft beer for at least 10 years. I mean, I started seeing articles as early as 2007, and you keep seeing basically the same article floating around with a few words changed here and there. Now, I mean, yes, not every craft beer open today is going to be open in 5 years or 10 years. And it may decrease at some point, but there is no explosion, man. There are people that love this stuff. It is here to stay. Will every craft brewery open today be open 5 years from now? No, probably not. But that's just the way business goes, man. It doesn't mean that it's coming to an end.
Well, and there is some legitimate signs of some slowdown, at least in growth. I think this past year, or maybe it was 2015, was the first year that there wasn't double-digit growth in the craft beer industry. It's still growing, and so we're not there yet, but the signs are probably starting to be there. And I actually just saw a little something from one of the vice presidents from Sierra Nevada. They had their big collective gathering for the beer camp collaborations, and one of their vice presidents rather crudely called craft beer a dying art form. Kind of the idea was it's a semi-relevant point, but anyone with a little bit of seed money can buy a little bit of warehouse space and buy the equipment they need and make beer, but they have none of the mastery or the craftsmanship to it. So I
agree with that 100%. Yeah,
that's probably a fair amount of what's been driving it was something like we had 2 breweries a day, something like 800 in the past year that have opened newly. That it's just I think it's not sustainable, and I would think we would even see that number go back below 5,000 if for no other reason that we'll get rid of some of these lesser breweries.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I didn't say it's going to stay at 5,000 or jump to 10. I'm just saying it's not going to blow up. It's not going to be gone. We're not going to be down to 3 breweries like it once was.
Mm-hmm.
The craft
short of like major.
The craft beer industry is not going away, no matter what the macros want to tell you.
Yeah, short of major economic catastrophe. Yes. You're right.
I think a big thing in craft beer that showed itself in the last several years here is you can and I know Jay has seen that before, and I know we all have, I should say, not just Jay, but a lot of what goes on in craft beer these days is trends. There's a lot of different trends that happen in craft beer. Like at one point in time, it was IPAs, it was barrel-aged beers, it was doing everything with grapefruit and pineapple, it was session IPAs, whatever the trends may be. If you're not getting into these trends and you're not getting these people that are trying to follow these certain beer trends, even like with the Trilliums and those kind of things, having a really highly sought after East Coast or some kind of really, really hoppy, juicy IPA, if you're not following these certain trends in craft beer, it's very hard to keep up with the new market that's emerging in craft beer. So I think that's one thing that's driving certain consumers to buy beers from certain breweries and not support other breweries. Right. That's what I think. One thing that happens a lot.
And were you going to say something too, Jay?
Yeah. You were talking about. Hold on a second. I'm going to get a sip of this beer. You were talking about.
It's all about priority.
You're talking
Take your time. Take your time.
I am.
It's not like, we're trying to have a discussion here or anything.
Yeah, you were talking about these trends, and I agree with that. And Frank Zappa talked about that in a 1978 album called Studio 10. He talked about trendmongers. And I was glad to see this Voodoo. I didn't really like it too much, but this New Belgium Voodoo.
Oh, the Voodoo Ranger?
Yeah, Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. I said, wow, somebody made an IPA that's just an IPA. It doesn't have, it's not aged in sherry barrels. It's not, they don't have something added to it. It's just an India Pale Ale. I mean, good grief. Maybe people are going back to just more basic styles, and the trend mongering might be over, because I don't think that was necessarily helping. I think it was turning some people off. They just thought it was, craft beer was like, I mean, I know it wasn't true, but they thought craft beer was just like a bunch of gimmicks.
It was craft for craft's sake, basically.
Well, no, it's going back with what Justin was saying. You have so many brands chasing a limited amount of people, so then you have to differentiate. And the way you differentiate, you got banana infused and black licorice infused and barrel aged, and you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So everybody's got to try a new gimmick, and then you started seeing all these crazy, like really questionable things like yeast from a beard and
beard yeast.
Yeah, and then people that were taking a bit of whatever, just a ray of sunshine, where they said, I went to outer space and I got a ray of sunshine, an actual ray of sunshine from the sun. And
we talked about the space yeast.
Yeah, so just people are saying, oh, hell with that,
Marketing gimmicks, basically, right? So
it's nice to see beer made with just beer products. And I think that
you be amazed at our next story when we get to that, though.
Yeah, and what Tom the Beer Whisperer is saying is that it's not going to ever disappear and go back to a few just major breweries.
Yeah.
But you will have a shakeout. I was saying that it would sort of maybe collapse around January 2015, but it didn't. There was more slack in the market than I thought.
But I don't think we're ever going to see a shakeout where millions, or 1,000 breweries just go under all at once. But I agree with Eric's point that there are a lot of trendy breweries, man. And there's a lot of trendy craft beer drinkers. Yeah. Those guys aren't going to be around forever. They're here for the trend, and they're going to be gone when the next trend. So whatever trendy breweries are out there are going to be gone. I do disagree with this point, though, that it's the breweries that are doing those trendy beers are the one that's going to hang on. I think the breweries that are going to hang on are the ones that can sustain themselves without the trends.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Others,
that's what I'm trying to say.
The breweries that are going to make it through whatever shakeout there is are going to do it because they're making great beer right now.
I agree with that.
Well, if we can stop any trend, can it be guys wearing skinny jeans? Because that's
especially guys over 40. I can kids wanting to follow the trend. But if you're over 40, put on some pants, man. You look like a freaking moron.
I love how this turned into a morning radio show.
I'm wearing tight pants.
But you ain't wearing skinny jeans.
Everybody doing the tight pants. I got my tight pants. I got my tight pants on.
So now we got
I'm wearing
singing,
very loose jammies as we speak because I need the ballroom.
Hello, Jean. Hello.
Good evening, fellas. How are y'all doing?
Introduce yourself and your channel there, John.
Yes, Jean Henderson Pierre, the Beer Ramble. You can catch my videos. I just did a review of, should be hopefully post up, Pacifico. I just did a review about an hour or so ago. Yes. That will be posted tonight. Yes, on YouTube. Type in JEAN, initial HPIERRE, and I post my videos on Facebook. And right now, I am drinking a nice bottle of Members Mark water right now.
Hey, Water Club!
Water.
Water
I'm trying to take it easy right now.
Women douching it. I ain't drinking it.
So we got the Wooder brothers in the house tonight. So,
Yeah.
well, we do have Albino watching, and Albino's got his little jokes going as well too. So he
Get on this video, Albino. Let's go.
He says Tom only stands in line if it's a Monday. Damn it.
I don't stand in line for anything. I don't care if Scarlett Johansson's at the end of that line promising me a blowjob. I will not wait 4 hours for anything.
Well,
I'm
Scarlett
gonna call
Johansson, maybe, I don't know.
Feel free to
She is a looker. She is a looker. I will say that.
She's my freebie. So that's why I bring her name up, because she's the freebie my wife and I have agreed to. But
Albino does bring up. He says
the free pass, Beer Whisperer, the free pass, right?
Albino says, I don't know if the U.S. has the same problem as up here, but we have a lot of contract breweries that don't own an actual brewery and brew an overflow left over from other craft brewers. And that is where the majority of our breweries that are disappearing are coming from. And I'll say here in Kentucky, we just had a brewery that's in the process of closing, and they were kind of a contract brewer as well. And they're being absorbed by another brewery that's taking over their spot. So
if a contract brewer is doing it really, really right and well, I don't see why they would close down their doors. I think one of the bigger ones in craft beer, at least in my neck of the woods, is Clown Shoes. Clown Shoes Brewery doesn't even they use one particular brewery up on the North Shore of Massachusetts, but primarily they don't have their own brewer. They don't have their own brewery. They just go from town to town and see who wants to brew their beer. And it's amazing that people just know about their beer for not even owning their own brewing facility. So that's a big one in the craft beer that hasn't gone anywhere in the last number of years.
Well, the one that was actually here,
the exception to the rule. Most are doing average beers, but Eric's absolutely right about Clown Shoes. But I think they are the exception to the rule. To Albino's point, I think they have more of that contract brewing going on there than here at the moment, but you do see more of it popping up.
And the one that closed here was actually an offshoot of a distillery, and it just wasn't a profitable part of their operation. So that's why they're actually closing it down. But to Tom's point, Albino says, as long as she isn't doing 4 hours of blowjobs before I get up there, I'd be waiting.
A good point, Albino. There you go. You want a fresh mouth. You want a fresh mouth.
I think Clown Shoes, Evil Twin, McKellar, they all do good contract brew beers.
Yeah, I didn't realize the brewer, the owner for Evil Twin and McKellar were brothers, actually.
Oh, wow.
James had actually told me that from over in Sweden, that they're actually brothers. So, yeah, both of those do great jobs.
Excellent.
Peter Graves and James Arness were brothers.
Oh.
Yeah, I consider like Evil Twin and them a little bit different just because they're foreign. Like compared to Clown Shoes or some of the others. They're kind of the contract or gypsy brewers, but that's me personally.
But they still, they don't have their own facilities.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. And then, let's see. So another story showed a new bill could give the U.S. beer industry a boost. So this is actually a federal bill. If enacted, the bill is going to actually provide tax relief to brewers and beer importers, as it will reduce the taxes on how much is being brewed. It's actually reducing taxes on 2 million barrels and less, so it can really help a lot of the craft brewers.
Yep.
But the bill will also expand the list of ingredients that could be included in beer without federal government approval, including wholesome fruits, vegetables, spices, things that are suitable for food consumption. So
Oh,
you may get
fruit
more
beer.
things thrown into beers nowadays.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
No
So
fruit
just
flavored
talking
beer
about
for
like Jay
me.
saying going back to just making a beer, some of these companies are going to probably throw all kinds of stuff into them now, and that's going to be possibly interesting too.
I think that's kind of what makes craft though, is being able to experiment and think outside of the box, and that's where the real innovation in craft beer is going to come from. Although I can see the point of a country like Germany and people that have that mindset where just use beer ingredients, because it's going to be a lot. I think it probably would be a lot harder to brew just with your water, yeast, hops, and malt, and try to pull out all different sorts of flavors from just those 4 ingredients. So I think both have their own merit in the beer world as far as what we consider craft when we drink it. But then again, everybody's definition of craft is obviously different from one another.
Yeah,
My
but
thing
most follow that craft beer association as the Bible, it seems.
My thing is that are we getting to the point that are we like we do with our foods? Go to the supermarkets, you have the Trader Joe's, the Fresh Market, the Whole Foods. Are we doing this with, are we doing that? No, I'm saying, are we doing that with our beer? We want to make this beer for this group of people, make this beer for this group of people, the gluten-free, the organic style beer. I mean, are we getting kind of a little carried away? I mean, when beer should be beer, am I wrong?
I think you have breweries trying to feed different niches out there for sure.
I'm going to say that you're not wrong, nor are you right. It's totally up to interpretation. Yeah. And when it comes to the craft beer industry either coming or going or dying, it's going to be up to what the people really want from beer and what they're looking for out of a beer. And if the market's not providing that beer, then nobody's going to. Then that's when you start to see the shift going downward from craft beer.
Okay.
Exactly right. Yeah, I mean, there's already a gluten market. There's already an organic beer market. It's just what those niches can bear. So.
Yeah,
by the way,
what difference does it make? Let them buy whatever they want to buy.
By the way,
yeah.
Okay, John Walker just left. I was going to say hello, John Walker, but he left.
He leave on his own? Was it Google screwing up again?
I think he left on his own. He's a little beard out at the moment, I think.
What do you mean by that?
He's very good about today.
Drinking and doing a little too much extracurricular activities at the moment.
Well, and I think the big thing coming out of this beer, I think, is the tax relief as much as anything. I think
the tax relief is going to help a lot of the craft brewers to actually hopefully control some of their expenses.
Were there some laws in a couple of states this past recent election that took effect in January of terms of taxes on beer in certain states?
I don't know if there was some on some of the certain states. There were certain things that were allowing higher ABV beers to start taking place.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of states that don't allow that, which is just very strange to me.
Yeah, well, there's some states
like Tennessee, for example.
Tennessee, yes.
You can't buy beer on Sunday in some states still, which is crazy to me. Are we adults or are we adults? Let us get beer. What the hell?
We never really had those rules around here.
Yes, that's why I need to move to Louisiana.
Anything goes in Louisiana.
I tried to tell you that I had to help you find a house.
Albino also said,
"Come on, baby, let's go."
Albino also said,
"Leave your mom here. We'll be fine."
What does Albino say?
I'm waiting for John to finish.
Oh, watch what you say on air.
No, he was saying up in Canada that
here he goes.
The taxes. There's Albino. Good. I'm not going to keep reading everything you typing, brother.
Albino, what's going on, man?
Nothing at all, sirs. Nothing at all.
I was about to read your comment about the taxes up there in the contract room, but you can explain it there now.
Oh, yeah. So at least for contract breweries up here, the taxation rates make it so that a contract brewery has an almost impossible chance of staying open here. In the last 10 months, we've had 11 contract brewers go defunct.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Basically, you're paying your licensing regardless. Then you're paying all your ingredients, all your kegging, canning, bottling, all your taxes on sales. Plus, you're having to pay a percentage to the brewery that's brewing for you. So your profit margins are very small, and a lot of these guys are making extremely normal beers, such as say a Kolsch or something, to try and get into market. And nobody really cares about that, and you can't really charge $5 a can for a Kolsch, so your profit margins are even smaller.
Ah. Hey, Albino Rhino, Chad. This is Louisiana Beer Reviews talking at you right now.
I couldn't tell that, Jay. What's going on, sir?
Yeah,
I like the wit. I like it.
I kind of like it. Hey, I watched that whole playback of last night's hangout, and I felt as though I was looking into a mirror.
Oh, yes, the little troll, eh?
It was cute, and that was from my very exquisite gin review.
He basically every week he picks somebody else to take a picture of and pretend to be for the night.
It was
He's
fabulous.
He's been me. He's been Lee. He's been you. He's been Dave. He was Chris. Somebody else.
I know where you're going.
I always watch those on Thursday when I'm folding clothes. I watch those playbacks. Sometimes they're 4 hours, so then it takes up a lot of time. But sometimes they're short, like today, only an hour and a half.
Since my computer in the basement died, they've been pretty short because I have to let my wife go to sleep at some point.
Yeah, thanks for the invite yesterday. I was running around, but I'll definitely join one of them. I'm upcoming for sure, Albino. But another story is, let's see, Stanford students. Didn't we do Stanford like last week about some stuff, dude? They did the space program, right? So whatever's going on in Stanford, they're doing a lot of stuff with beer. But Stanford students,
All smart people at Stanford.
yeah, they brewed beer from a 5,000-year-old recipe. Students at Stanford University used a 5,000-year-old recipe from China to brew their own beer, recreating one of the world's oldest known alcoholic beverages. The recipe was discovered by analyzing ancient Chinese pottery used for brewing and storing the beer, and the researchers found traces of the ingredients, which proved that people were making beer in the region 5,000 years ago. However, the exact mixtures of the ingredients were unknown, so they actually experimented. The end result was a wide variety of different beers, some of which tasted better than others. One student developed a thick beer with a pleasant fruity smell and a citrus taste. Others described their beers as sour or musty. The inclusion of barley in the beer recipe surprised their professor Liu, because barley didn't start appearing in Chinese food until about 1,000 years later. Liu suspects the barley was first brought to China for use in alcoholic beverages and wasn't used for food until then. So
that's interesting.
Forget what you're eating.
They always said China was the first to develop beer, or I guess.
No,
So-
well, first that they've seen in China, but there's some that goes back to Mesopotamia even too for some.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, but
Not Sierra Nevada. Dogfish Head came out with one a number of years ago called Theobroma, and they were talking like that was one of the first ones. I think, I don't want to say Mesopotamia. I want to say that was like an Aztec kind of a chocolate beer.
yeah, there's stories I've heard of there too.
Brewing as well, yeah.
But it's kind of cool that before they even made it for like 1,000 years ahead of time, they're estimating they had beer before they actually started using it for food. So it's all about priorities.
Eric.
Yeah, when it snows, everybody's running for milk and eggs and bread. I'm making sure I got beer and whiskey in the house.
I can drink.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
I'm trying to get the information on that Theobroma right now. But if you have that information, by all means, share that.
Eric.
Yes.
That was, what they called it? It was called that Aztec beer. It was Samuel Smith's Organic Aztec Chocolate Stout.
Don't stumble over the drum set.
I couldn't find it, even though I'm a drummer.
Aztecs used to brew it in open stone.
Yeah, that was the Aztecs. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's a little little interesting history.
They say that the discovery of the beverage pushed back to the earliest use of cocoa for human consumption more than 5,000 years to 1200 BC.
Wow.
That's how far the Aztecs apparently have been drinking kinds of beer like that, yeah.
That'd be kind of cool to brew
Well,
something.
no wonder Spain conquered them. They were drunk.
Too many buttons, I'm sorry.
Oregon. Nobody here is out in Oregon, but if you are in Oregon, Modern Times will begin their distribution to Oregon. So that's going to be a good thing for the people out of Oregon.
They are a great group.
Look for the award-winning portfolio of complex, flavorful, and often style bending beers, including Black House Coffee Stout, Lamaland, Saison, Fruitlands, Fruited Gauche, Blazing World, Hoppy Amber, and more in cans, bottles, and drafts throughout Journal Distributors territory.
That Blazing World is phenomenal. And I would say to anybody that's on this panel, if you can get the Modern Times beer and you don't have access to any of that New England style hoppy stuff, Blazing World and that Modern Times beer is a very close approximation. And I'm glad to see another brewery kind of trying to expand distribution of that style of beer, because that's one style of beer, at least to me, that you don't see it, getting any kind of national distribution. You see it on a small market in certain states in the country, but you never see it on a larger scale. So that's nice to see a brewery like that trying to
most of the beers.
Where's their brewery?
In San Diego, California, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Most of the beers in Portland, Oregon, we get. Well, I know of that from up there is the Dead Guy or Dead Man's, whatever it is. Yeah, and that's the only bit that we get from Portland, and I think something else too. I've seen at Rouse's that we get from Portland, but we don't get much stuff from them here. Mostly everything is from New York, the Carolinas, or from Georgia, even as up where you are, Thomas Meadow 75 up in Massachusetts. We get a lot of stuff from you guys. So, but nothing from Oregon.
The full sale.
And we do get Anchor from California and parts and
full sales from Oregon.
Yeah, that's the other one you probably get.
Rogue is the only beer company that ever sent me condoms.
And on a different
note, did it come with instructions for you?
On a different note, the Whitman brothers are actually in Portland, so you might see those beers in your neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, they actually have a pretty good distribution too. So,
but yeah, that was. I mean, we've heard this story so many times from Jay Hub Rogue.
About the Rogue condoms. Yeah.
So weird every time I hear it.
Because I got traumatized.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never seen one before.
So would I.
But you look at that Modern Time situation, and that's part of the problem with our three-pronged system. I mean, you're limiting distribution a lot of brewers to get to the rest of the country, which sucks.
Hey, you know what you do with 365 used rubbers? You melt them down into a tire called a Goodyear.
Oh
boy, did that run flat.
Flat tire.
That's a positive.
I wish we could get Modern Times beers over here in Louisiana, because I would buy them and I would review them.
They are good. I mean, what Rajay was just saying about the distribution, I think, and I know that Jay's talked about it on his channel at some point in length on one of his discussions, but that's another reasoning why I don't really think it's such a terrible. I mean, say what you want about the macro beer industry, but I don't think it's necessarily such a terrible thing if you can get acquired by a macro brewery and you're still making the money on the craft beers that you make, and they're able to help you with that distribution. I think it's a win-win for everybody. They get your beer in their portfolio, and you get that distribution. I think if anybody approaches you, about trying to acquire your brewery from one of those big, brewing conglomerates in the United States, I think if you draft up the right, contract, I think it could be a win-win for everybody. I don't think you should just
Well,
do
it
it.
could be in theory, Eric, but the problem is it typically doesn't work that way. I mean, if we're talking about just distribution, yeah, that's a great thing. But typically, almost every brewery that I know that has been acquired, at some point, the quality goes down, the creativity goes down. I don't know of any that really stay at the same level they were after a period of time. And that's the issue.
Creedmoor Springs is
If
the
it was
only one I
just
know.
distribution, it's a great idea, but it doesn't work that way.
Now, the Craft Brewers Alliance, they have a combination with Anheuser-Busch InBev, and I've been enjoying a lot of their beers.
Me too.
And what beers they come out with, Jay?
Yes, but they're not as good as they used to be. If you had Red Hook back when they were their own, the products aren't as good now. If you had Kona back when they were their own, the products aren't as good now.
You're saying
you had Woodward Brothers back when they were their own, the products aren't as good now.
So you're saying the quality controls have actually changed how the beer is coming out, really?
I never noticed that because I never drank them back then.
Yeah, I think those companies are out of their mind if they think that they're going to acquire a really well recognized craft beer and just kind of take a dump on it and do what they want with it, because I think they're going to lose loyal customers and it's going to turn into a sort of a failure of an acquisition for, say, Anheuser-Busch. It's going to fail.
Well, but if you're that major conglomerate, though, there's a lot more emphasis on the bottom line, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yes, and
if you're an independent craft brewery.
Sure.
That's why you see cost-cutting measures. That's why you see creativity go down. There is an issue. If it was just distribution, it's great, but it's not just distribution. Things eventually happen. Quality goes down.
Or it's just as simple as, they use Hop X for their beer.
Yeah.
They get acquired by AB InBev, and Hop Y is quote unquote just like Hop X, but however much cheaper, 15% cheaper, and it's not really like Hop X, and that's
that happened with a bourbon.
That
happened with a bourbon I was drinking. They got bought out, and then the recipe was completely changed.
Yeah.
I mean, completely changed. Like entirely different bourbon with just the same name, but anyway.
Can I segue back to the Rogue condoms for just 1 second?
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Albano.
So I just wanted to.
Jay's never put one on, so you might have to, give us an example.
Have you drank a Rogue beer in the?
No, thank you.
Because if you look at the back of the Rogue bottles, they have food pairings on it, right? And the little cartoon they draw for the beef food pairing actually looks like ovaries. So not only have they sent you a condom, but they're saying your beer is good with ovaries.
Because they are sexist, and I am triggered.
But on this topic here,
well, we always know the show gets off the rails at some point. So
yes, let's.
It didn't take long tonight.
RJ, save us. RJ, save
has
us.
nothing to do with me.
You know what?
I think we got to stop letting Canadians drive the train.
You know what?
RJ, save us.
You know what, Chad? Albino Rhino, I did not. When I commented on those two items that they sent me, all I said in the video was, I said, you know what? I'm not going to use these. I'm going to save them for rogue executives if they ever go cruising New York bathhouses.
I took mine and I shoved it over my head and I blew it up.
Do those still exist?
I hope you put that on YouTube.
And I said that as a member of the Rogue Nation.
No, but to go on your topic about when big guys take over the little guys and all that, and things just change. Creedmoor Springs here in Ontario was the first, basically one of the first craft breweries to come out in Ontario, and it was the first one really to be bought out. And when they were bought out, the first thing that Molson did was make sure that the contract Creedmoor Springs had to be the exclusive users of the Creedmoor Springs, because they were the only people allowed to take water out of the springs, was valid for Molson. And it went from 1 truck a week going down to the spring and coming back up to like 15 trucks a day going to the spring and coming back. Also, they tell you that nothing has changed in the brewery at all. The recipes are still the same. They are still doing the same recipes. The thing that changed is they went from a 21 plate DE filter to a multi-million-dollar filtration system that goes to 0.0% particulates that takes up the same size as my house.
But does it affect the quality?
It makes the beer more shelf stable, but it also takes out a lot of the flavor.
Yeah, you lose a lot of flavor the more you filter. Yeah.
Now, when we first went to tour there, because Molson wanted us to go and do a tour to say that nothing's changed, and when we were talking to Gordon, the brewmaster, he didn't know we had already been in the basement. And I'm like, has anything changed at all since you got taken over? And he said no. And I go, so that multi-million-dollar filter was already there? He's like, oh, because he had no idea we were showing it.
Oh, you set those guys up.
But those macros are on the up and up. They are, boy. They're not out there, they're not going to hurt the craft beer industry. It's all going to be fine and dandy. See, man.
I feel a Tom rant coming on. But from the
I'm all about the little guy, man. I'm all about shopping small. Support your locals.
From the Peanut Gallery, Camp Beer Reviews says, "Yo, people." So apparently he's up over across the pond. He's watching.
Yeah, he said he said
hey, Craig, how you doing, buddy?
He said he was gonna avoid joining tonight because he said something to do with he was totally as they say in England, pissed last week during the hangout.
Well, he pulled an all-nighter with us last week, so he probably went back and watched the footage.
You know what? We might have noticed if we were just as pissed as he was.
Eric, a Lions fan, says Jay looks like he's seasoned.
I'm drinking water, Eric.
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Hello.
Camp Beer Reviews says can't quite get a few modern times in the UK. Booze Reviews is saying, "Are we on the road condoms again?" Smiley face. Eric said, "Haha, yeah," to that response. Then Booze, of course, said, "Lots of laugh, yes."
I don't have a hang up about it. I just brought it up.
But now we have Eric in the house who thought he couldn't make it before.
Went over to my buddy's house. He wasn't. Well, we just chit chatted and came back.
Excellent.
I figured you guys would be off air by now.
Oh man!
At 40 minutes in, you think we'd be done by then?
We went for 4 hours last week, man.
And Booze,
on 6 hours.
Booze Review says he's cooking, so he can't make it, but he wish he could. So, Eric, you would introduce yourself and your channel and everything.
And your beer.
And your beer.
Sure.
And if you're drinking water too, you're out of here.
I'm watching Duke, North Carolina, and
Eric got muted by albino.
It's Gatorade. All right. Introduce your beer first, please.
There you go, Eric. You're up now, baby.
Oh my God, this is fun.
Thanks, guys. What's up, YouTube? It's Eric Lions fan.
There's a lot of love
Clicking on
in
Rod
this
J's video, baby.
I'm loving this room.
Today I'm drinking King Buffalo Imperial Stout by Tallgrass Brewing.
Oh,
Company.
yeah. I had that last week. What'd you think of it, Eric?
I thought it's too boozy to me.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I liked it, but I like boozy. But I mean, this 10.5% Imperial IPA is or Imperial.
What's
at 10.5%, Tom, I thought that's the booziness just came out too much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What's the ABV?
I didn't think so, but okay.
Eric, what's the ABV?
10.5%.
Oh, that might be a little boozy.
I love that.
I didn't think it was too boozy for the style. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. It's good. It's just that the booze is up front to me.
So you got the alcohol taste and everything when you went into it?
Yeah. Well, not on the nose, but on the taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that Buffalo Sweat.
That is very good. Very, very good.
Buffalo Sweat should be a song.
That's Buffalo Soldier.
Well, I know Buffalo Soldier, but I'm thinking Buffalo Sweat could be a song too. Maybe a remix or something. Anyway, new legislation. Although we don't have anybody really in Tennessee right now. We were talking about legislation earlier. Down in Tennessee, they're actually looking to allow high gravity beer sales in grocery stores, which could be good because maybe that'll spread to other spots. But under the bill sponsored by State Rep Cameron Sexton and Brian Kelsey, beer could have an alcohol content of 18% by volume and still be sold anywhere beer is sold now, which is to say the grocery store. The legislation is supported by the Tennessee Craft Builders Guild and the Tennessee Malt Beverage Association. All this does is basically make beer and wine the same level alcohol content, Sexton says. Right now, it's a 10.1% ABV. Anything over that is considered high gravity, which then requires a whole new licensing process, which is really hurting craft breweries. It's just about leveling the playing field. So if you're in Tennessee, you may get that kick up to 18 ABV, and maybe that'll spread to other states as well.
Right on.
In Kentucky, we actually, I think our cap might be up in the 20s. Ohio had just went to 18, I believe, last year when they used to be a lot lower. So it can easily spread around some of the other areas, but you don't usually see a lot of these ones in the grocery store. They're usually more in beer specialty places. I don't know if you guys see any high gravity in any of your regular like grocery stores or regular
all the time
spots.
here. All the time.
Well,
Well, you're in Louisiana and New Orleans, so yeah, you always got some good stuff there, I'm sure.
well, I mean, it took us here until 2009. You know, we had Colt 45. We had, I think that was probably the only in terms of Mickey's who had not arrived yet until probably when I moved down here, about maybe 2009 or whatever. I came here in 2006, but Colt 45 was the only considered high gravity beer until 2009 for Hurricane and Steel Reserve for those type of beers that finally come down here. Look, the South, whatever the reason, as we all know, and we just saw with Tennessee just this past year, it takes forever, you know, because they're behind the times, because it is the freaking Bible Belt.
Well, unless you're in Jay's state, because New Orleans is a great anchor for that.
The Bible Belt, I say.
Wait a minute.
Jay, you don't have to say it. I know what you're going to say. Let's move past that.
What is it, John? What is it again, John?
To John's point, I mean, I actually work in the Northwest Arkansas during the week, and the county that I represent has only been wet for 3 years. So, I mean, yeah, and it's odd how different the liquor laws are from Southwest Missouri to Northwest Arkansas.
Can you say Bible Belt again, John?
I want to know what Jay was going to say now.
I do too. I'm interested.
I think John's about to piss himself over there.
No, I was going to say, I think what you'll notice, and you do notice a big difference on the Missouri-Arkansas, just as an aside, you do notice a big difference on the Missouri-Arkansas border. Like if you're driving up, well, on the interstate, you wouldn't notice that because you can't, you have to get off at an exit. But let's say you go from Arkansas to Missouri on U.S. Highway 61, which parallels Interstate 55. Well, when you cross that, and by the way, there's a huge concrete arch, which is interesting to see. But when you pass under that arch, once you get to the Missouri side of the border, it's liquor stores everywhere on either side of the highway. In Arkansas, they don't have that. So Missouri probably prefers that Arkansas would keep a strict liquor and beer regulatory regime in place because it benefits Missouri, right? But the thing about the strict, like Jean was saying, the Bible Belt, that's mostly a front.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
It's not me. That's my sound man, Eric.
I'm sorry. I thought somebody had turned on a VHS tape of Flash Gordon. But
Nobody stand in tights.
1980.
Flash.
But
Savior of the universe.
but you're talking about the Bible Belt. But mostly, it's even in Louisiana. There's a line. It's mostly Catholic versus Protestant because if you go to the Catholic areas of Louisiana, it's very liberal as it concerns alcohol regulations.
Catholics going to get their alcohol, that's for sure.
And if you go to the Protestant areas, and it's very strict. Like there's still some parishes in Louisiana and counties in Mississippi that are dry, that you can't even can't even purchase alcohol. Now, if you go to Baton Rouge, now this is a perfect example, and I'll say it real fast. Hello, Tanya. If you go to, let's look at Baton Rouge, for example. Baton Rouge is right on the borderline between the Protestant and Catholic Louisiana. In Baton Rouge, you cannot sell beer, wine, or liquor on Sunday until 1 o'clock. But that is not a rule in any of the Catholic parishes. You know, that's coming from the Protestant mindset. So that's an example. And that stretches from Baton Rouge northeast into Mississippi, all the way into Alabama, and all the way up into Virginia, and all along the Appalachian mountain chain.
Even
All
up
of
in
that
West
area
Virginia.
you're going to find it's very strict.
Yeah.
But if you go to New Orleans or other Latino areas like Miami or Haiti or areas like that, it's not as strict. Or South Texas, whatever, it's not as strict.
That's why I don't go to church. Hey, man, you told me to be wine. This is grape juice. What's wrong with you?
Catholic churches, they still give you wine.
Everything was going along so well.
Well, I brought, now Tanya's in, so get you boys on your best behavior.
Yeah, I had a good joke until I saw her pop in. Now I'm not going to do it. I'm letting that one go.
See, Tanya, that's the effect. You get a woman in here and straightens the guys up.
Was it getting out of control before I got here?
Tanya, what's
But
going
If
on?
you give Tanya 5 minutes, she'll drop an F-bomb for you. So
Tanya,
All right, let's hear one.
For the record, I'm late because I had to go get a tattoo with my friend, like impromptu. So I don't think we need to keep it clean.
Where'd you get it at? What is it?
Never mind.
Hey, can you show it to us?
No, not live.
okay. All right, everybody, let me start this show down early tonight. So.
I like you already.
Let me grab a beer.
Yeah.
I am the founder and president of Puat.
What the hell is Kuat?
No, I said Puat.
What is that?
P-U-A-T.
I don't know. Don't know.
I don't know.
My dad likes to say "Pakone."
Damn it, Jay, you're talking in code again.
It's on my Facebook page.
President and founder of what?
Puat.
What?
Puat. It's on my Facebook profile. You can look it up later.
Well, say what it stands for.
I'm looking it up right now,
Bringing it up.
Jay's the riot is getting wild again.
What the hell?
So, Tanya, introduce yourself, your channel, and your beer if you're drinking a beer.
Hey, I'm Tanya Mikowski, and I have a review channel here. I'm out of the San Francisco Bay Area. Channel is of my name, which makes it tricky to find. It's Tanya with an O, and I am going to be drinking AleSmith Nut Brown Ale tonight, in English style ale. Which I bought to share with somebody else, but we had bought a growler on the way to our destination, so we drank that instead. So now it's mine.
Ah. So you said Tanya with the O because it was tricky to spell. Not the Mikowski. The Tanya is the tricky part.
Right, I'm not even going to get into Mikowski. Yeah.
Hey, Tanya, I got a
I feel like
similar
if you Google
issue.
beer and
That
Tanya
my
with
name
an
is
O.
Tom with an O.
It is so comical that Tom has done hangouts with people and they cannot pronounce his name. I watched this repeatedly. Maria said Tom Mulville. And
Yeah, John, I don't know how many videos I've done with Johnny. He cannot get it right.
John
And now
said-
I watched that video.
phonetically correct, right? It's Mulvihil. There's no hidden letters. It's, Mulvihil. It's not hard to pronounce, but nobody can get it right. The funny thing is that when I was a kid, though, at school, is that our teachers get it wrong. They tried to teach me how to spell things, could not phonetically pronounce my name.
Yeah, I saw
Well, Tom and everybody else's defense, you have been using it your whole life. Nobody has, really.
John Sharon was saying,
All you got to do is pronounce what pronounce it how it's spelled, and you're going to get it right.
Well, have you,
John Sharon was saying Tom Moleville or
Yeah,
something.
he goes like Mulverhill or something. He adds an O or an R and some other letters in there.
And I was saying, golly, it's 3 syllables. It's 3 simple syllables. Moleville.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can.
And now you see why people are worried about DeVos being education secretary.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Things aren't getting any better, folks.
No politics tonight. Thank you.
Private schools are going to go to the roof. We're going to see sweatshops again in a few years, folks.
Good. We need more school sweatshops. Hey, you know what?
Sweatshops. I said it.
Don't be mad because you lost. Don't be mad because you lost. Oh, Tanya.
What is that, man? I didn't lose anything. The country
Back
lost.
to beer, everybody. The beer.
Anyway,
You only have to. Anyway. You only have to deal with it for 8 years. Tanya, look.
It's only going to be 4. Hell, it might even be 2.
It might be
All right. Let's get back to beer. Back to beer.
Oh, everybody.
Drink Miller Lite. Drink Miller Lite.
Tanya. Getting past all of
If
that.
you got the time, we got the beer.
Maybe start muting these fools.
Miller
Have you guys been drinking for like an hour? What's going on?
Tanya didn't drink all night. Tanya. Past all of that in our 8-year victory. Look, I'm so impressed.
Focus, dude.
I'm so impressed with your glitter wall.
Oh, thanks. Isn't it lovely?
Yes.
I added this really nice
That is
chair rail, so
something.
it's super classy.
Also, Tanya, I like the red hair. I saw you in the last beer review. I gave you, and I didn't compliment about the hair. I like it.
Thank you. I'm going to come
Yeah.
hang out with you guys on beer reviews more often.
Yeah. I just went bald yesterday, so
Really? Even after this?
yeah.
All right. We can start making Tanya
Even
blush.
after this?
All right, Tanya, continue talking. I'm sorry, Tanya. Continue.
My
You were
bad.
saying.
I'm sorry.
Hey, well, Rod J, I'm getting off of this. I have a job. I work part-time. All right. Well,
You bet you're gonna miss the
Well, you're
fight.
only drinking water anyway. You ass.
You have to watch. You have to watch.
I'm just saying.
I was drinking beer earlier. Hey.
Earlier.
Yes. Okay. Well, everybody be safe and have a safe weekend. Have a fun, safe weekend, I should say.
Mardi Gras starts in Mobile, Mr. Terrio. Tomorrow, first parade, Conde Cavaliers.
Oh, yeah. We got so many parades starting tomorrow, Friday night. Yep. Okay.
Be safe out there. Get some beads for yourself.
I will.
Figure out how to
I'm
use that
bringing
condom.
plenty of 6-pack of these. You got the time. We got the beer.
Figure out how to
Does that say
use that condom.
champagne on it?
That's
Champagne of
right.
beers.
That's
The
right.
champagne of beers.
The champagne of beers. You got the time. If you got the time, we got the beer.
The last few shows, John
Beer
has been singing like crazy. I have no idea why, but he's been working on his singing voice. So
I like his singing.
yeah, he's doing all
It's
right.
getting better. It's getting better, fellas.
Pretty soon,
Madam,
we'll
it's getting better.
be like John, and this is the Weekend Beer News Band, and have Eric and all them behind them playing instruments.
Sign me up.
But going to the next topic, right? Because we
Moving right along.
we did have topics on here. So beer is still America's Beer is still America's favorite alcoholic.
Get it out. Get it out right there. Yes.
4 out of 10 regular drinkers prefer the frothy beverage over wine and liquor. Nielsen Harris poll found that beer was the preferred drink of 55% men, 41% of younger generations aged 21 to 34, and people, it's funny he dropped out, people who live in the South. Domestic non-craft beer was preferred by 38% of beer drinkers, while craft and imported beers were favored by 29% and 23% respectively. Wine came in second place overall, but was the top drink of choice for 40% of American women.
Wine is the choice for 46%.
Yeah. That was the top drink for American women.
Remember, a couple of years ago, Wine Spectre put out a magazine article. I don't know if y'all remember this, about the the BMCs were all going down in sales. How everybody was, what was going up was spirits and craft beer and wine. And I bought, that was back what, 2013, 2014, that article may have came out. And I always felt economically, if you look at the prices between all three, beer maybe came out maybe slightly ahead of wine. Look, I think there's room for, from terms of the cheap crap to the craft stuff, and beer will always seem to come out ahead of wine and spirits. So, which nothing against none of spirits or wine. I like red wine. I've had a couple of spirits. No longer, but because of experience.
I'm an equal opportunity drinker. I like both.
You really need an episode. We really need an episode with John on spirits to find out what happens. Like, do you become the Hulk? Do you like look for your Iron Man outfit or something? What goes crazy there that you're all over the place?
Well, Jay had a story about someone where he drank 8 cans of or bottles or whatever of Ice House with the 6.9, end up washing his car. Something similar happened to me in a not so positive way. But moving on from that,
I got a feeling you went streaking or something.
But yeah, that will be something that will go with me on the day I die. But anyhow,
I gotta say though, as far as women are concerned, wine may be more popular at the moment, but among craft beer drinkers, women are the largest growing demographic. More women are drinking craft beer right now.
Right.
I mean, maybe not more than wine, but more women are gravitating towards craft beer.
I think a big thing that's happening right now is that the art of the cocktail, and again, it's the word craft, right? The craft made cocktails, and getting back to the roots of the essential kind of spirits. Your whiskeys of any sort from any region, your vodkas, gins, and your rums. Those kind of drinks are becoming really popular again. And you're seeing, even on television with shows on Esquire, like the best bars in America, or even the Brew Dogs.
Yeah.
Eric's right. Classic cocktails are coming back. The Manhattan, the old fashioned. You're seeing a lot of those. You're seeing a lot of wine cocktails, a lot of beer cocktails.
Right. I think with craft beer personally, and Tanya can probably attest to this more on what her thoughts are. I think craft beer has an issue still marketing to women or working with women. I think it's an overlooked demographic still, even though more women are starting to do more things with it. It's kind of still not gotten to the point where they're generating any type of audience with a lot of the women. They kind of skip over them a lot of the times. And even some of the things I've posted on some of the stuff has kind of highlighted that. So the point that wine might be a favorite drink of women is just that they're not targeting women in a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, there's a brewers group called the Pink Boots Society, which is women brewers, and it's, I think, one of the only organizations of its type, because there isn't a lot. I feel like if they go to homebrew competitions, they're pretty much all guys. You go to industry conferences, they're all guys, and that gets a little tiring. I feel like constantly, and this happens in every industry, I suppose, because I battle it in tech now. But you spend a lot of time trying to find a way to be yourself in an industry that's not necessarily made for you. I mean, there's so few perspectives in the craft brew industry, that they're trying to carve that out. So it's interesting. I feel like it is changing. And now that people are getting a little bit more hip to the fact that there's different kinds of beer that you can drink, more women, I think, are going to be open to coming back around and trying something. I actually have a lot of people who come to me and say, I really don't like beer, but I feel like I can probably find one that I like. Can you help me? And I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I feel like if you hate beer, you just haven't had one you've liked. And let me help you with that for sure.
Well, Tanya, being where you are up there, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of craft breweries besides the two big names like Cernova is more down lower California, but Anchor and there's another one somewhere. right out where you are, where people can, women and men, but mostly women can, like, hey, this is some good stuff here. Maybe I need to try drinking beer and wine.
Right. And I think also the bartenders, not necessarily at like regular divey bars per se, but people are going to tap rooms, either at a brewery or just a place that specializes in beer. And those people are getting really good about talking about what you might be interested in. If you're like, I really like fruity cocktails, they're like, okay, hold on a second. I can find something that has hibiscus in it or something, let's get you a half and stack it with orange rings and it'll be great. And they're kind of being more inventive in that way.
Well, it's like one of the episodes we also talked about with labels. Some of the labeling that's done is kind of like, as Jay would kind of say, like a juvenile type level. So it doesn't make it as attractive for some of the women too. And some of the names they name some of the beers are more sensitive to the guys than they are to the women about what they're really actually describing there. And that's where I think you see a lack of diversification in the industry because of that. You look at some of the stuff. When I go to choose beers, I look at some of the labels. It's amazing that some of the stuff that was actually put out there, like nobody was there in the decision making, saying maybe that's not a good idea to go with that one.
Well, I'm currently finishing a Mother's Milk, so that was probably marketed towards men.
Yeah.
But having said that, I mean, regardless of what's going on in marketing and craft beer, I mean, it is a fact that the largest demographic right now are women. Women are really picking up. More women are drinking craft beer.
Yeah, they are.
The brewery I happen to work for, I don't want to mention the name here because I don't want it just to be a commercial, but we have a lot of women that come in that say they don't like beer. We brew a beer there called Hops and Vines. It's kind of a wine beer hybrid, and they have that. And they love it. They keep coming back.
It's a hybrid in that it has grapes in it.
It's actually a collection. There's a winery just around the corner from the brewery, and they use a specific type of grape juice, but it's brewed like a beer.
Interesting. Yeah, I've also seen a lot of beers that are brewed with champagne yeast, and so it has that kind of flavor to it, and it really just becomes like a variation on a sparkling wine. And I feel like that is a lot more available to the population because people are familiar with what champagne might taste like.
Yeah, it gives it a tighter carbonation, makes it very clean and dry.
Right.
I think it's 61-minute IPA from Dogfish. They use a Syrah grape must.
Yeah.
It really shines through in that beer beautifully.
Yeah, you're starting to see a lot of beers like that, Eric. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some done in wine barrels to kind of get that wine appeal, and also.
Yeah, the beer that I had last week, I think it was the beer that I had last week. It was that dialed in double IPA from Trillium. It was it had Chardonnay and Gewürztraminer juice.
Say Trillium one more damn time. I dare you. I double dog dare you.
Chardonnay. Yeah. Chardonnay.
Well, it's like the one that Goose Island has, like Matilda. It doesn't even feel like you're drinking a beer when you're drinking a Matilda from Goose Island.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, wow, yeah, that's a little different, but it's not a bad beer.
No, it's not a bad, but it doesn't feel like you're even drinking a beer with that one.
No, it really doesn't.
Speaking of beer, I've actually moved over to the gingerbread stout, so I'm drinking that now. Ooh. And Super Bowl Sunday, I actually made beer chili using the back home gingerbread stout.
Did you really?
And it was phenomenal. The wife loved it. She took some to work. All of her friends talked about how good it smelled, how good it looked. I took it to work. People loved it there. But I'm getting into some of the beer cooking with some of the stuff. But it added a nice thickness to it, and I added a nice aroma to it. I put some scallions in there, some other stuff.
Oh,
but
nice.
It's fun to experiment with some of the beers when you're cooking.
That must have been why using the beer and the chili must have been why the Atlanta Falcons lost that Super Bowl.
I don't even know if
I'm done with football. I'm ready for the NBA. College basketball to start.
Baseball, man. It's time for baseball.
I love baseball.
It's time for spring training. A real sport.
Final Four, NBA playoffs, baseball.
I
hope they just
for intelligent people.
I hope they send the
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons coach a thank you for not running the clock out and trying to throw the ball when you didn't need to.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. But I
Duke,
guess
North Carolina so far is close, only down by 2. So I'm watching that while
I also moved on to one more beer for the night, and this one is just standard old Lagunitas IPA. It's still a good.
That's a solid beer, Eric. That's a very solid beer.
That's a good beer. I've had that. Very good beer.
Sort of. I mean, say what you want about Goose Island. Say what you want, but it to me, it's on that similar for me level as the Goose Island IPA. I think
Oh,
personally,
see, now I think you're nuts. They're
I
not
think-
even close to each other. The Goose IPA and the Lagunitas, I mean, they're not even in the same ballpark.
I think for me personally, I don't remember the ABVs of them both specifically, but I think for me personally, they kind of sit in the same kind of alcohol percentage, and they kind of sit in the same mouthfeel, and they have a similar drinkability to me. I could choose either or if I'm just more in the mood for stocking the fridge with that classic West Coast kind of an easy drinking IPA. I would definitely go towards the Lagunitas. And if I wanted to be more English about things, I say that term loosely. If I wanted to be more English about the IPA, I might go for something more like the Goose Island IPA. But they're both excellent.
they're both good. It's all palate and what you favor. Albino, you still with us, man? Make sure you're not sleeping there. We can't see you.
Oh, I'm not sleeping. You don't want to see me right now.
Sleeping for Albino is
We didn't hear you snoring, so.
What the hell? Kent,
You would have heard me
Kent
snoring if I fell asleep.
Kent said something. He said, now it says message retracted. You can retract messages you put onto the chat. I had no idea.
That's the first I've ever heard of that.
What the hell did you say, Kent? Why'd you take it back?
Join us and tell us live.
But fun fact time, right? So 5 things you didn't know about Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Uh-oh.
Number 1. I was going to say I should have a drum roll. It was originally named Best. German immigrant Frederick Pabst married Maria Best in 1862 and began working at Maria's father's brewery, the Best Brewing Company. When Best died in 1889, longtime employee Frederick took over and renamed the brewery after himself.
Do you think
He's a slime bag.
After the guy dies, he changes it over.
Do you think that's why we find a beer called Milwaukee's Best?
Maybe. Ooh,
Company. Milwaukee's Best is Miller, not Pabst.
that's an
But they're both sort of, Jay could tell you more about that from the beer reviews, but they kind of have a joint ownership.
yeah. Yeah, so it might be, maybe it's a relative or something. Fun fact number 2. The Blue Ribbon tag dates from 1893. As legend has it, Pabst took the crown of America's best beer during the 1983 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, but that title was dubious at best. Reports from the time indicate that only bronze medals were handed out to a handful of vendors at the fair, but the beer had racked up so many awards by then that owner Frederick Pabst began tying ribbons around every bottle as a market employee anyway, and it worked.
So see, that has to be a typo, or Frederick Pabst lived forever.
Yeah, it must be it said dates to 1893, but they say 1983, so.
And he didn't take over the brewery until after 93 because the father was still alive.
So I'm going to say it dates back to 1983, not 1893. I think that was a typo. Bad journalism. Fake news! Fake news! Fake
Somebody
news.
said Bible Belt. I had to.
That's not fake news. That's an alt fact.
You are fake news. You are fake news. Over there. You are fake news.
Trump doesn't like it. It's fake news.
So we'll move on. We'll move on to bullet point number 3. No drum roll?
Hold on.
Drummer's drunk. The 80s and 90s were really rough. Pabst Blue Ribbon sales peaked in 1977 with 18 million barrels sold, but it was all downhill from there. Sales bottomed out at under 1 million barrels in 2001 before beginning to pick up again, which was probably the hipster movement at
I was
that
about
point.
to say that.
Yeah.
And movies like Coyote Ugly made it popular. You may remember, when they had these folks dancing on top of the bars and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think so.
Also, it being cheap as dirt.
So this
Yeah,
goes
that's
to bullet point number 4, and to all you guys that wear skinny jeans, it targets hipsters in the most cliche ways possible. Marketing tactics have included sponsoring indie music festivals, post-collegiate sports teams, and facial hair clubs. Who the hell is a facial hair club?
Well,
It advertises in dive bars and on NPRs, all things.
If you join a facial hair club, you might be a hipster.
there actually is a beard competition.
Guaranteed you're a douchebag, but you're probably a hipster too.
I could never win a beard or facial hair contest, but there is one every year in Portland, Oregon.
There's lots of them. I promise you that.
It advertises in dive bars and on NPR's All Things Considered, and is post fan art on its Facebook page. So yeah, it's going after the hipsters for sure. Although I like All Things Considered, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I listen to it. I listen to NPR. I listen to
The
that.
show?
It's like on Fridays.
Mm-hmm. And the fifth point it makes, it contains 4.74% alcohol by volume. A 12-ounce can contains 12.8 grams of carbohydrates and 144 calories. For comparison's sake, a can of Bud is 5% alcohol, 11 grams of carbohydrates, and 145 calories.
Oh,
So they
Why are we comparing it?
just for
why are we
comparison.
comparing
It was comparisons. It says comparison's sake. It's like with all due respect. With all due respect, you know, somebody can say all due respect when they're about to say something bad they're not supposed to say.
and I mean, it's only natural. It's only natural to compare a beer to what its competition is. I mean, what its main competition is. It's only
Yeah.
natural.
So with the Bud, you actually get less carb, one more calorie, and a little bit more alcohol versus the Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Not that bad. I don't think that the Pabst Blue Ribbon is the worst of the American style lagers. I think it's one of the better ones.
Honestly, I like Pabst as much as I would drink a Bud either way. You know?
Well, I don't know if I'd call it the worst.
Pabst is good, and again, you got to give credit. And I know I've mentioned this several times. What Pabst has done in terms of bringing out like the Valentine IPA,
yeah, see, that's
the
great.
Old Tankard Ale, some of those old
Reviving the
style
older
beers
brands, that's great.
you know,
But the brand itself,
you know, it's really been refreshing to see, like, you know, even for me, you know, particularly the Old Tankard Ale, like, you know, wow, I didn't think they would do this type of beer before, and I really enjoyed it. And as you know, I had to make that drive, you know, almost 45 minutes away in Mississippi to get the Old Tankard Ale, the 4-pack, and realize, you know, it was a good beer. I was like, man, Pabst made a beer like this? Like, what the fuck, you know?
yeah. No, I agree. The Valentine IPA was nice.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to try that one, although people seem to like it.
You
But
should
the
probably.
Pabst brand itself, I think, is horrible.
Well, I don't really specifically remember about the Valentine IPA, but I know that the Old Tankard Ale, I think it was a Minhas that actually was the contract brewer that did that for Pabst. So they didn't do it themselves, nor did Miller do that beer for Pabst. So when they do it, it seems like when we talked about the contract brewers a while ago, when Pabst and Miller does the contract brews and they get a somewhat of a name to do their beers, they seem to do a okay or even a decent job with them.
The Old Tankard's a good beer. I agree.
The Kent actually replied. He said, "He's fucking up. Why doesn't he get on the damn show?" He says it was just something about condoms when Jay was on, so that's why he retracted it because Jay wasn't there anymore.
Never get that beer fresh.
Oh,
here,
come
Tom.
on, Candace, come and talk about condoms.
And then hello from Holly Colt is actually watching. I sent her a thing earlier. Holly is actually a new beer reviewer out there. We talked about her last week.
I've seen Holly. She does a good job.
So she's watching right now. I sent her a thing if she'd like to join and introduce herself. But make sure you show her some love as well.
Come
I figure if
on.
I get 2 women on here to really control the guys. So
I've seen Holly. She does a good job.
We'll be on our best behavior.
yeah.
I'm not trying to control nobody. You guys are on your own.
I ain't controlling nobody.
I ain't nobody's mama.
Exactly. Handle your damn self.
Yeah.
I like her.
But that was the topics that I had so far. Anything else you guys see out there this week? Anything that kind of stirred the pot a little bit?
I went on Beer Advocate here, and Beer Advocate's talking about brewers are now experimenting by distilling beers.
The beer advocate's about a decade behind.
Well, yeah, I mean, true. I mean, not even just craft breweries going into distillation, but they're talking about physically, creating the entire recipe for a beer. They're talking about one brewery called Slow Boat Brewery, and they physically went under the process of distilling one of their Citra hopped IPAs and a Scotch ale.
Did you say
they were making beer schnapps?
Basically, I mean, yeah, to a certain extent. They're talking about, and the company is the mango and passion fruit hoppy flavors of the IPA came through nicely, whereas the Scottish ale produced less desirable malty and earthy flavors. We were surprised. The IPA most resembled the original beer, and we all thought it would turn out the best. So, I don't know.
I shouldn't have been surprised.
It's actually a really weird thing too. If you think about it, if you know the history, at least up here, is we only had one brewery that had a distilling license, and that was Mill Street. Mill Street was making beer schnapps. Mill Street got bought out by Anheuser-Busch, so now Anheuser-Busch owns a distilling license in Canada.
Busch or beer schnapps.
Now I'm just waiting to see like a 62% Bud beer schnapp come out of Mill Street now.
This was you.
I mean, it's not a mystery why you see distilleries, or should I say, why you see breweries distilling whiskeys and stuff like that. Because except for really using hops, I guess, and the beers and whiskeys use pretty much the same exact ingredients, except for the fact that obviously breweries are brewing a beer and the distillation process creates that higher alcohol percentage. So really, I mean, the two really, it makes sense that you could use those ingredients and then try to distill it and make the similar flavors out of a beer. But the higher ABVs. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. I kind of like some of the stuff they're doing with the beers and the alcohol, though, with the liquor. Like that beer that I had, that was that Belgian quad from Adelbert's, and they used rum chips. That was freaking phenomenal. They used rum chips in the fermenting. It just came through and made it like this nice, dark, black Belgian quad that was just so freaking tasty. That's all I got on it. It was fucking tasty. That's all I'm going to say. You guys sit there all you want. The shit was good. It was just good. That's all I'm going to tell you. So if you ever see Flying Malts from Adelbert's beer, try it. You'll like it.
If you ever see beer schnapps from don't drink them.
Don't drink them.
No.
All right. Well,
I was actually given 2 free bottles by the brewery, and they said, we'd really like to see you chug one of these. So I did, and it was probably the dumber thing I've done in a while. But yeah, I did it.
Alrighty then. Good to know.
It was fine until about 20 minutes after I drank it.
Sure. And if anybody doesn't know, I'm looking on Beer Advocate on Beer News or Google on Beer News. If anybody didn't know, like we need to know from the state of Colorado, that Colorado is leading the canned craft beer surge. I think we all kind of know that a lot of the good craft beer, Colorado's got a good market on the canned beer sort of scene, and I think.
Well, you know why that is, though.
Oh, that was my mouth, dog.
Because I mean,
well, would we all agree that maybe beers are better in cans because it keeps?
Damn it, John! You ruined my joke, John.
Let's start over again. Hey, Rajay. Let's start over again.
No, let's go. Let's go.
Over his moment, man.
I had a joke all lined up. Eric was playing into it, and John's got to speak his piece.
All right, let's reverse and then I say nothing. All right, everybody, go back to where they were
Better
before.
than my joke.
We got a new panelist, Roger.
Let's all welcome in Holly, one of the new beer reviewers to the beer review.
Hi, Holly. Hello. How are you?
Remark a few seconds.
Tom.
See ya.
And Holly, you can introduce yourself and your channel or whatever you're drinking tonight, whatever you like.
Yeah, my name's Holly Colt. The channel is Holly Colt, and I was just at AleSmith. Woohoo!
Yeah! Woo!
I'll show you what I picked up. Yeah, I just had enough round with hubby. I'll show you what I picked up.
Nice.
Walking over here. Can we see that?
Yes.
That's what I picked up.
My Bloody Valentine. Nice.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, Valentine's Day right there. That's love in a
What
bottle.
brewery? And what brewery makes that? What's the name of the brewery, Holly?
AleSmith.
And where they're from?
San Diego.
Baby.
So you're in Southern Cal, right?
I'm in San Diego, yeah.
And Tanya's in Northern Cal. So
Hi, Tanya.
we got California covered with the ladies.
West Coast represent.
There you go.
West Side.
That's what we're about on here. We're diversifying the crowd.
West
Got a little bit of
Side.
everything on here.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of the last part where you guys were talking about women drinking beer and stuff, and you're right that they're kind of scared of it.
Yeah. And
I see a fair amount here in the tap rooms, but I think they're just there with their boyfriends and hubbies, kind of tagging along. So I'm trying to represent.
there you go.
Well, Holly, let me ask you this question then. If that's the case, so would you more Holly and Tanya and others, who may be watching, would they be more preferred the wine than the beer?
Yeah, it's wine and cocktails, mixed drinks.
Okay.
Like
Around their significant others is more the beer, right?
Yeah, I think it's just they don't realize how much variety there is. Even though they're here in San Diego, they don't see the variety. They don't taste the variety the way we do.
Okay.
So I'm trying to evangelize.
So you think it's like a lack? You think it's a lack
Beer
of
evangelist. There you go.
Holly?
Yeah.
Let go. What is Eric keeping together?
Like when we have happy hours over here, the women are having wine and the dudes are having beer.
No. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with actually the companies putting this stuff out there to attract a lot of the women into the beer, to show them the different styles and share a lot of that information. And I think I think there needs to be more women brewers. There need to be more women reps out there doing a lot of that stuff so that women are more comfortable learning about beer. Yeah. I know on my channel and stuff like through Instagram and some of the stuff I do on Twitter, I talk to a lot of women drinkers, and the interest is always there,
Yeah. Yeah.
You still there, Tom?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm with you, brother.
So what's your favorite beer, Holly?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to defer. There's so many, but the first one that comes to mind is the Belching Beaver Peanut Butter Stout.
Ooh.
Garage Brewing Milk Stout. So obviously I'm a sweet tooth.
Okay.
What's your favorite beer, Roger?
Yeah.
My favorite beer is the Golden Drop 9000 Belgian Quad.
Ooh, all right.
Good beer, yeah.
I love Belgian, and that's one of the top ones for me out there. What's your favorite beer, Eric?
Actually,
in New England?
Strangely
Carlsberg.
No. Strangely enough, it's in the can. Young's Double Chocolate Stout.
Oh, I love that one.
That's your favorite? Really?
Yeah, my favorite. Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Wow. That's an interesting choice for you.
Don't tell the UK guys that. They'll go in on you on that one.
Yeah, I know. They think of Young's and Wells as just another macro in their country. I get it. And the company that I work with is a United Kingdom-based company, so I talk to a lot of the UK people. Actually, I haven't talked to them a lot about beer. Maybe I should try to do that.
Yeah. That might be something good to do. I mean,
Come on, Craig, get in this conversation.
Yeah, he keeps typing still.
Come on, Craig.
Tom, what's your favorite?
No, Craig, come on.
You know,
Tom,
my favorite beer is going to change seasonally, but right now, right at this moment, I'd have to say Mother's Milk because it's just a perfect barrel-aged imperial stout.
Nice.
In 5 different spirit barrels. It's a beer that uses cocoa nibs. It just has a lot of flavor, a lot of dimension. I think, in my opinion, it's just one of the very best of that style of barrel-aged imperial. It's a brilliant beer, and I love Mother's in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
How about Jean? What's your favorite beer, Jean?
Right now, I will say I like the Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. I think that is an in-between of an Imperial and the Guinness Extra Stout. Is in between, has a little bit of a sweetness to it, but also very bitterness to it. I think that is a very good beer.
Eric,
the Guinness Foreign Extra Stout.
Eric in Michigan.
The best beer I've came across thus far is the Bourbon County Stout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, please.
Here we go.
Tom's not lining up for that one.
Beer, man. Come on, you can do better than that.
It's owned by InBev. You can't drink that shit.
Oh my God, it's all right, man.
Now, Tommy's allowed to have his favorite beer, Bourbon County.
Holy fuck a duck.
Tanya?
I don't have a single favorite beer.
What's your favorite style?
I really like anything that's malty. I guess really my favorite style is probably Scotch ale. But yeah, there's a double IPA that's a seasonal brew locally that is really, really amazing. If it ever comes up, I'll drink it. I drank the Guinness Antwerpen Stout, and that was really good.
Yeah,
and I've got a single bottle and regretted not getting more. So, it really depends on the beer and my mood and what I'm eating and, I don't know, all these things.
I agree with Tanya 100%, yeah.
Yeah, if I come across a Robert the Bruce, I'll have to get it out to you, Tanya, out there from Three Floyds. That's really a good Scotch ale.
Yeah, I really like Scotch ale a lot.
What about you, Justin?
Westbrook, following on the Imperial Stout that a few people mentioned, Westbrook's Mexican chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good too. Yeah.
Chocolate
I'm
chilies.
surprised I'm not hearing any IPAs in the mix. We're all talking about stouts and sweeter ones.
I think if this was June, everybody would mention IPAs and double IPAs.
I like the Harvest Ale from Founders.
IPA is my third favorite category behind stouts and Belgian ale.
That's my favorite style of beer is the IPAs and the double IPAs. And again, here we go. Trillium makes my favorite IPA.
Jesus, Eric, get off your Trillium kick.
Good Lord, man. How much are they paying you to mention? You get paid every time you mention her name, don't you? I know
right?
you do.
$100. Boom, drop that name.
Trillium.
That's money in the bank.
Would you like your IPAs to look like you just passed a kidney stone?
What about you, Albino? What's your favorite beer?
Well, locally, my favorite beer would be Totally by Half Hours on Earth. Now, unfortunately, Half Hours on Earth is a very, very small brewery. What they basically do is all sours done through cool ships and actual proper souring, not kettle souring. But they only do 50 liters at a time, and now they've become so hyped that you can't get their beer anymore.
Now, by proper souring, you're talking about that open fermentation, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have about Urban Artifact out here. They're a sour brewery. They do that.
Now, if I wasn't going with them, since I can almost never get their beer anymore, and because it's super cheap, I can get it at almost any LCBO for $3.50 a bottle. Rochefort 10.
Oh, nice call. Nice call. Do you get Cloudwater, Albino?
71.
No.
Okay. I thought when you mentioned the Cloudwater, I thought you may have gotten some of it or something.
Where are you located?
No, you guys were talking about stupid gimmicks, and I was talking about Innocent Gun Cloudwater beer.
Well, over in the UK, they keep talking about Cloudwater Brewing, and I didn't know if you were getting it there or not. Yeah.
Are you in Canada?
Yes, I am.
He's in Ontario. Ontario.
Ontario beer reviews.
It's a nice province. I've been to Toronto. Nice time. Hockey Hall of Fame. Saw Olivia Newton-John there.
You saw what now? Come on now.
Olivia Newton-John. You know Grease fame? You're the one that I want. Where's John at? John was singing too if John was here because he loves this thing Grease.
John gets distracted by his family and then has an argument live on camera.
like last time.
Yeah. And I thought when we did it yesterday, it was going off about something, and I tried to meet him, and instead I blocked him from the video.
I always feel like there's gonna be one day. I always thought there's gonna be one day John's gonna be like, "Don't you see, woman? I'm on the computer right now."
You can yell that from the background.
Yeah. You see something come flying across the room.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that to my wife once. You're gonna see a rolling pin hit me in the head.
Oh yeah.
The secret to being married for 22 years is say yes to your lot.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, you may agree, right? Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. I got to tell you though, in all honesty, I make jokes about my wife, but I'm nuts. I'm out there. Nobody can put up with me for 22 years. She doesn't drink. Yeah, she'll take me to a brew pub or a bar, me there for a couple hours, come back and pick me up.
Yeah.
I'm married perfectly for me. I'm married to a saint, man.
Matey.
Yeah.
Cheers to Saints.
And that's always a good thing. Not these days. The
Yeah,
Saints
she
are
should
the
get
world
automatic
are
pass
horrible.
to heaven for putting up with me for 22 years. That's all I got to say.
All right, Hent, you showed up. Hello.
Oh,
It's
what the hell?
about time.
UK boy is awake the whole time he's been typing. He finally
Craig!
decided to computer.
Let me do this.
Craig, I wish Jay so you can tell him how to use a condom.
Whoa!
I felt like I wasn't really paying attention, and I missed an important segue to that conversation.
Jay brought up the road condoms again earlier that they sent to him.
He brought them
He
out.
mentioned he didn't know what to do with them.
Tanya looks a little puzzled.
So I made a comment. Aren't there instructions on the package?
I thought Albino did a good job with his.
Well, he said he'd save them, but
Yeah. He put them on his head and blew them up.
yeah, via his nose. Like, I don't know.
I have a really big head too.
I should have warned you, Holly. You can get a little wild once in a while on here.
Oh,
Also,
that's okay.
they've been drinking for an hour and a half. So
Well, we went to Mexican for dinner, and I got one Mexican restaurant that actually will serve other beers besides Dos Equis, Buds, and Bud Light and Coors, and they actually had the Sam Adams Winter Ale, so I had that. And of course, I got the big one. If you go to
At a Mexican restaurant, Roger?
that's
Wait a
right.
minute.
Oh yeah.
At a Mexican?
We're teaching
Sam
them.
Adams Winter Ale?
Yeah.
What
And
the?
of course, in a Mexican restaurant, you can get a big beer. So 32 ounce. Started off with the Sam Adams Winter Ale. Got home 32. Got home, started rolling a little bit of it. I'm sorry, I'm a big boy. I'm all right. I can handle it.
That's one of my favorite questions.
Don't worry, Eric. I
Beer.
was okay driving. Nothing to worry about. I got it all down. I know my weight ratio and everything, so I'm in good shape.
I hear you.
Then I got home and kicked into the other one from Jackie O's, and then I got the gingerbread stout. The Jackie O's 6.5. This one 8.5. But now I'm just in the comfort zone right now, just kind of vibing and relaxing. So that's where I'm at. That's the neighborhood I'm living in right now.
All right, so on the topic of 32-ounce beers, every time I go to a restaurant and they ask me, do you want, the big one or the small one? I'm like, thanks for asking me that. I totally want the big one, and thank you.
Well, they asked me, I'm like, what do you think? You think I want the little one?
Go big or go home.
You know who bought
That's what I said.
I give him the whole side eye, like, who you talking to me? You asking that question?
I'll take the little 12 ounce, please.
Clearly, you don't know me.
Yeah.
You don't know
I do the Pulp
me.
Fiction line. Does Marcellus Wallace look like a bitch?
Nice.
Give me the big one.
Is that a question you need to ask this guy, the big guys?
Yeah, really, you don't.
Okay, I'm relatively tiny. I'm only like 5 feet, 5'1", maybe. Like if I have shoes on, and I still want them to ask me that question because I want the big beer. So don't judge. Don't judge based on my size.
Hey, Tanya.
Do they then follow up and say, "Are you sure?"
Never.
Any
I'm
of
so
y'all?
enthusiastic. I'm like, oh yeah.
If they ever say, "Are you sure?" slug them. Hit them right in the throat. Hit the throat as hard as you can.
John,
if they ever say, "Are you sure?"
Why is it always a throat? Everybody has a throat shot in their arsenal. Everybody says, "Go for the throat." Everybody I know
Well,
says,
you
"Go for
could hit
the
him in the
throat."
balls if it's a man, but yeah.
Well, right. Also, I'm usually sitting, and like I said, I'm only 5 feet tall, so I'm not really like in the throat punch range.
Oh, there you go. Well, go for the nuts then. What the heck?
What you got, John?
Do the most damage.
Karate chop them. I was gonna say, do any of y'all, Tanya, or any of y'all, do y'all still get carded? Even though at my age, I don't look my age, but I still get carded. Do any of y'all do get carded?
I mean, I'm 28 years old, so I get. I mean, I'm going to say this loosely. I get occasionally carded. Some places don't even question, which is kind of strange to me.
Even with the porn stash.
Yeah, I mean, with the,
You got that kind of hairy rings thing going on there.
I got a specific name for this facial hair, and I call
Ron Jeremy. Jeremy.
I call it my AVD. It's my age verification device. If I have stuff, they don't need to card me, right?
Almost the stash.
I card you just because of it, because it almost looks like facial hair.
But I actually do have another brew news information. If anybody cares to hear that, I found some information here. Apparently, the Rodenbach Brewery is going to be releasing a beer called Fruitage, Fruitage. It's a low ABV beer from Rodenbach. It's going to be a 4.2% beer. They say the Rodenbach Fruitage is a light, refreshing, perfect for easy drinking, and can be enjoyed year-round. They say it is comprised of 25% authentically aged Rodenbach in their 2-year matured beer from the oak standing barrels, and it's going to be blended with 75% young Rodenbach ale, and it's going to be with added fruit of cherries and elderberries, and for the first time, it's going to be.
That's interesting.
For the first time, the Rodenbach is going to be offered in the cans in the United States.
Wow.
No juniper berries.
And they're talking about it's going to be available in 4-packs, and they say on this is from the brewbound.com. They say it's going to be available in 4-packs. It is approachably priced as compared to other premium imports with a retail suggested price of $6.99 in US dollars, and it's going to ship around April of 2017. It'll be on store shelves in late 2017 in the month of May. So there you go. I know a lot of.
What's the ABV on that?
ABV is 4.2%, so the same as your light American.
They're gonna sell a 4-pack of a 4.2% beer. That shit's gonna be expensive.
Well, what they're doing is they're blending two of their really famous beers together, and I'm not exactly sure how they get to 4.2% by doing that, but somehow they do.
Wow.
But you got to remember that there are lower ABV lambics and sours and cuvee style beers that come out of Belgium that are really lower ABV beers that do command that price from the market right now.
Yeah, but I'm not buying them.
We're buying them.
That kind of money, it's going to be a 10% imperial stout. That's what I'm telling you.
I mean,
I'm just not going to. I'm not going to pay that kind of money for 4% beer. That's ridiculous.
You don't. Do you ever buy any of the Belgian lambics or any of the Belgian sour beers?
Yeah, I actually, but I'm not going to pay that crazy amount of money.
I mean,
It just seems insane to me.
Just wait till it comes to Canada, and you can get it for
But
$3 a
but-
can.
Well, listen, it's only $6.99 US for 4 beers. I don't think that's a terrible price for what you're getting out of that beer. Probably. That's just me, though.
Are they 16-ounce cans?
Yeah, that's what this photo looks like. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about. I mean, it depends on what their definition on this article is, and I'm going to link it to you all. But they're talking about that it's actually. You know what? I take that story. I take that statement back there, Eric Lions fan and Tom. They're actually 8.5 ounce cans. So there you go. On that.
What?
Well, that's
Four
bullshit, Eric.
pack of
Holy crap!
8.5-ounce cans.
Are these for the
That's
Muskins?
bullshit, Eric.
For the Muskins?
Damn, they're awful proud of that shit.
I
They
call
got 2
bullshit.
snacks then.
Little people in the big world? What's happening?
I'll get 8 cans then.
Yeah. This guy named David. There's a guy named David Von.
Again, Greg.
There's a guy named David Von Wees. He's the general manager for Lattice Imports. They're the U.S. importer for the Rodenbach Brewery. He says, quote, consumers are seeking alternatives to the heavier beer selections, and Rodenbach Fruitage offers a lighter style of beer that is both refreshing and filled with flavor, keeping with the authentic Rodenbach brewing practices.
Huh.
That's what they're talking about right now for that beer, and it's going to be available in May in 2017 on most of our craft beer type shelves.
Well, it's $7 for an 8.5-ounce can is bullshit. I'm just saying it right now.
Yeah.
No, it's for
For
4
4 of them.
1/2-ounce cans.
Yeah, for 4 of them.
Oh, 4 of them. Yeah, that makes it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4, not just
You
one.
can have
can.
4 showers, okay?
Yeah, 4. Yeah, exactly. Cheers.
Well, Beer by the Number says he loves him some lambic, so he'd go for that for sure. And
I mean, I mentioned the lambics in the sour beers
yeah,
because most of those are not. I can't say all of them, but most of them are extremely lower in the ABV. They can be in the 3.8% range sometimes, and sometimes the craft beer guys don't really think twice about that. I was just kind of wondering why we would try those beers and we'd be receptive of buying those beers. But this new beer from Rodenbach comes out and we all go, yeah, I would never buy that.
I need to drink more lambics, but it never seemed as attractive to me for whatever reason. It's just like
No, they're not our favorite stuff.
I might as well get like an apple juice or something. I mean, they're kind of like so low. It's kind of like it's not even beer.
Mm-hmm.
But I should taste them more just for the taste of them.
Again, apparently they talk about that this. They're talking about this. They say on the article, quote, this innovation of this new slim 8.5-ounce can, and this kind of a beer here. It says this innovation follows years of research and requests from consumers and beer professionals who have been requesting a Rodenbach beverage in a can format. So maybe more people are looking for.
We'll
I like to see who they surveyed. I'm thinking same people that are probably taking some fitness classes somewhere doing something. Give me a damn beer, not a half a beer.
Now, I do hope that they buy a very good brand of can and they buy a good seamer, since you know they always bottle condition their beers, and you'll have if you don't, you'll have some nice exploding cans.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know if anybody's ever had
that up here with some Radlers. There's some Radlers made by some of the craft breweries here
I
that
don't know
explode
if
on the
anybody's
shelves.
had a bottle of, say, like Parat or Golden Drock or something like that, like Rajay has. But if you open up the bottle top on that, and it immediately explodes. So I think Alvaro is completely correct about an exploding can if it were to happen.
Yeah.
So that might be an interesting thing to look forward to, or to at least see it on the shelf and maybe be slightly intrigued about.
So let me ask this. So all the stuff, everybody's here reviewing beers and doing different things, reading different things. Any beers that you're looking forward to here in 2017 to try or anything? Or is there anything you've seen that you're looking to try to... Like a lot of people right now are talking about the Stone Ripper. I'm seeing mixed stuff on that. I don't know if I want to go after the
I
Stone
want to
Ripper.
try that new coconut by Oscar Blues. The coconut, I'm trying to think it was
It's not the Death by Coconut, is it?
I believe that might be the one.
That's
I
right.
did the review of
That's for a while.
Yeah, it's been out for a
It's just
while,
not been in
man.
Alabama, but it's been
I think
everywhere else.
most of us have done a beer
How
review.
late is your news out there, man?
He doesn't get it in
I
Alabama.
know you guys are behind the times, but how late is your newspaper, man?
Are you on fakenews.org/beer
Wait a minute.
review?
You know
Are you
what,
guys
what
like a
it
year and a
is?
half behind, or?
He isn't
What
even
it
got
is that
DirecTV yet in Alabama.
if you go to, you know, we all know the newspaper industry is about dead right now. We would agree that there's only now my area, the Mobile Press Register, only runs 3 times a week on Sundays, Wednesdays, and I believe Fridays. Those are the 3 times a week. But as we all know, the newspaper industry has changed because everybody's getting news online and whatnot. But I think that Death by Coconut, I've seen it around, but I haven't bought it yet.
It's a good beer.
It's a
good beer.
Yeah, that's the one I want to see. But everything else I can think of right now, you know, I know it's out, and I know only 2 places I can get a lot of those beers, whether it be Old Shell Growlers or Cotton Shell Package Store. Probably the 2 places I can get it. But outside of that, you know, whatever videos I'll see from any of you guys, you know, I'll call and ask, you know, those respective stores, hey, do you have this beer? Some will say yeah, some say no, we haven't gotten it yet. You know, my distributor doesn't have it. You know, and you know, what do you do?
Well, Holly actually did one that I am intrigued by that I haven't tried yet, and that's the Enjoy by 214 from Stone. Because I've heard some good stuff on that one.
I might pick that up Enjoy by Stone here.
But that chocolate is chocolate and coffee, which I want to check out.
Yeah, it's coffee and chocolate, but we didn't really get any of the coffee out of it. Just the light chocolate and hops.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I had some already.
Duke. Any of you know?
We appreciate your honesty.
There you go.
I'm looking forward to trying.
I'm glad to report, if you live in the Northeast, which only I do, that Lost Finest Liquids is expanding distribution throughout the Northeast. So, well, we got more Trillium-style beers coming out. Oh, yay. I said Trillium.
There you go. Drop the name again.
Yeah, that's not worrying.
Come on, Eric.
Trillium's on my bucket list.
Pay the man.
Hey, Rod, here's a new drinking game. Every time Eric drops the name Trillium, we all have to take another drink.
Yeah.
Trillium.
We're all going to be hammered.
I don't know if we need help
Apparently,
with
we're
that.
doing extra for Trillium on these things.
So, the Saturday after this Saturday, I'll actually be at Cincy Beer Fest. So I may be able to upload some footage of what's taking place. The problem when you go to a beer festival and you try to upload stuff, at a certain point you're like, the hell with it, because you're drinking so many beers. So I don't know how long it can possibly last, but we'll be getting beers in from around the country. So I'm looking forward to that. We've got like Alaskan Brewery coming down, stuff from Anderson Valley out there in California. We got
Anderson Valley's good.
Ballast Point is coming in with their Mocha Marlin, Cinnamon Raisin Comet, the Manta Ray Double IPA, the Sea Rose, the Grunion, the Sculpin, the Victory at Sea Coconut. So I'm looking forward to those.
Bye, Albino.
See you, Albino.
Albino, peace out.
Peace out, man.
Tom,
Thanks, Albino. Take it easy, bud.
Trillium.
And then Tom, from your neck of the woods, we're actually going to have Boulevard out here. So they're actually going to have the Tank 7. They're going to have the Collab 6 with Firestone Walker, the Unfiltered Wheat, and the Calling, which is an American double. Some of the other bigger names, we're going to have Dogfish Head will be here, Abyss 2016, the Sage Fight, Red Chair, Fresh Squeeze, Armory, Black Butte, Beer for Breakfast, of course, Flesh and Blood. We have the Claw out here with Sweet Baby Jesus, Sweet Baby Java. So we got like 500 plus beers coming in, so I'm pretty keyed up about that right now.
Cool.
Even Maui Brewing's going to be here, which I've been dying to try Maui Brewing.
Oh,
beers.
yeah, that'll be nice.
Maui Brewing.
Maui is bringing their Lemongrass Saison, Double Overhead IPA, Coconut, Highway Porter, Pineapple Manna.
The coconut is yummy.
Nice.
I second that.
Almond Gang will be here, so they're good too. Man, I am going to be feeling good. Shorts Brewing, Eric out of Michigan. They're coming down with the Hooma Loompa, the Soft Parade, the Good Humans, the Cup of Joe. So there'll be some good stuff taking place here. And
when is that?
We're going to have over 500 beers. Would you say, Tanya?
That's next week?
The Saturday after this Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is San Francisco Brew Week or Beer Week or whatever. So there's like all these events everywhere right now. So there's a lot of great beer opportunities. But the thing that everybody's waiting for in these long ass lines for hours is Pliny the Younger.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe it.
Yeah, we talk about making a pilgrimage up there to get some of that.
If you do it, I'll go with you. But we have to, like, you have to camp in line. It's kind of crazy. Like,
Tom doesn't stand in lines. Tom won't stand in lines.
right. I mean, I feel like I want to taste it at some point to be like, meh.
I want to taste it to get off my like I want the Pliny Younger, I want Pliny Elder, and I want Hetty Topper just to say it's done. But I don't really want to stand in lines to gather them. But you almost have to if you're in that area.
Who's had Pliny the Elder? You guys all had that?
I haven't had it. No, we can't. I can't get it where I'm at.
Hetty Topper twice.
The Elder you can't get out there?
Not out here in Kentucky and Ohio. No, you got to actually go there pretty much to get it.
It doesn't get much distribution out of the West, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it does. We get. I don't think that we get. I don't think that the Russian River beers really get that much west of California, or maybe even Nevada or somewhere like that.
Yeah, I've got one shop where I can get it once a week here, and I can only buy one bottle at a time.
Yeah, they do that by design.
I just saw we got Brooklyn Brewery coming down with their triple burner, 10.7 Belgian triple.
Ooh, wow! Is that going to be a new thing? Is that going to be a new trend here coming up? I mean, you see breweries do it, but is the triple IPA going to start to be a thing that you're going to see?
Well, no, the triple is a Belgian ale, so it's right under. Yeah. But what you're talking about there, like you look at the Molotov cocktail and the extra Molotov cocktail they've done now, that's 18%. You could see stuff going bigger.
Damn it! Woof.
What'd you say, Tanya?
I have Molotov in my fridge. Like I think it was a 4-pack, and that's a legit use of a 4-pack. I had a whole pack of it, and I was like walking down the aisle, and I was like, oh, a single. That seems more appropriate. Like, let me just grab that.
It definitely packs a bomb with it for sure.
Yeah.
But it doesn't drink as heavy as it actually is. It drinks very nicely, and it's like I think the Molotov is at 14% ABV, but it doesn't really come across as harsh. But later on, when you go to do stuff, you kind of feel the hit from it.
You're like, oh.
Yeah.
I got burned from the inside.
But one of the ones I had last year, that's also one that's actually coming down I had last year, if you guys haven't had, which I thought was really good, was from Brooklyn Brewing, and it's the Brooklyn Defender IPA. And that's one they did in conjunction like with Comic-Con for the artwork and stuff on their label. But it's a West Coast IPA that's really good in my opinion.
The Comic-Con out of San Diego or something local?
I think they did it in the New York one at the time for where Brooklyn is. But it's a West Coast IPA.
For the record,
Dark Horse will be down here. Nice.
What is the difference between what is the Hold on.
What? Say what one more time. I'm in my Pulp Fiction lines right now. Say what one more time.
What is the distinguishing characteristic of an East Coast IPA? Cloudiness and juiciness?
That's like New England.
No, that's New England. There's a big difference, yeah.
That's
but
what I'm asking about.
The West Coast IPA are usually more fruitier, and the East Coast IPAs are a little more earthier, like in the hops that you get. It's not as much fruity, but you get more of the pininess with them, I believe. That's been I don't know, Tom, what your take is. That's been my take on the ones I've had.
The East Coast IPAs are more traditional.
I feel like that's some dinky hops here.
Yeah, they're a little piney, a little earthier. The New England are juicy. The West Coast is very fruity. A lot of you get those big tropical fruit notes on the West Coast.
It's like I did a review one time on one of the West
Those New England IPAs look like you just passed a kidney stone.
Yes, kidney stones.
Yeah. It's like I did a review of the West Coast IPA. I was talking about the lack of fruitiness, and one of the people thought, well, if they're all supposed to be fruity, then you're not going to get them. And I said, well, no, West Coast IPAs are supposed to be more fruitier. You get that grapefruit, you get that citrus, you get like that orange type flavor. Versus if it's an East Coast IPA where you get more of that pine coming through. It's almost, to me, it's like a walk in the woods. Like, and I think I grew up in New Jersey, so I think a walk out in the pine barrens. You're getting that pine from the trees. You're getting that earth.
Rod's exactly right. Rod's exactly right.
Here's what I'm going to do that's going to kind of be
Dogfish Head.
Different from everything that we're talking about, the IPAs. I'm going to do the last beer.
Didn't you say that before?
You know you got a foot of snow, so you're probably not working tomorrow, Eric.
Did you say that before?
No, it did not.
Last beer.
No, what's that?
120-minute IPA.
Nice. I love the 120. Hard to find in some areas.
I somehow I got a 4-pack of it in my town. And it's not a 4-pack that I frequently am trying to grab forward, which is nice. But I mean, nice for the cold weather. And it says it ages well, although I don't know if I really want to age an IPA. But this could, I guess, be a candidate for that if I wanted to try it to age.
I wouldn't age the 120 personally.
Is that
I
somebody's
think the
wife?
120 would age
Somebody's got feedback. What's going on? Somebody tried talking to UFOs there or what?
It's the typical John. John, mute yourself, John.
Somebody's got the Russia hacker stuff in there. What's happening?
It's me, I win.
John.
Yes.
Your side of the screen is loud.
All right, let me turn it down. Here we go. How about that?
That's
Take it
better.
down a notch.
Oh,
So yeah, 120
damn.
minute
It went
IPA.
back.
So is this the first time you've had a 120-minute IPA?
No, I had it 2000, I think 11 or 12 was the first time I had it, and then I bought a 4-pack. And I did a review on Beer Advocate of it at the time, and I don't remember particularly being all that fond of it at the time, because at the time I just thought it was kind of just a boozy mess of a beer, like the booze kind of outshined everything. And then I bought the 6-pack. I bought the 4-pack last week, and I tried one of them last week.
Well, your palate was still developing 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of still think the same thing in a way. I kind of think that the booze quality of a 100-minute IPA is kind of taken away from the the whole reason why we buy IPAs and why a lot of us love IPAs. Although I can see what it's doing. It's to me, the 120-minute IPA is a lot more like a really hopped up barley wine than it is to me more like an actual double IPA or anything like that. It's got those sweet malty notes. It's got those, like Jay would say from time to time on these kind of bigger beers, almost a turned fruit kind of a quality or characteristic to it for me. It definitely has those big sugary notes that are kind of, in a way, reminding me of an English style barley wine, or maybe like an American strong ale, like the brown sugar from Lagunitas, but not quite. This is just a little bit more abrasive in all of its flavors and qualities to it. It definitely has the ground bread. It has that molasses note, but it does have some at the end of it. It's got the hop oils and the hop resinous qualities that remind you of some kind of a bitter IPA quality to it. But for me, it's more just like a big old, American style barley wine than an IPA. So I kind of lose track of the whole fact that it is an IPA, but I can kind of see where they're coming from in calling it an IPA. So, I mean, as an IPA, it's okay. If they called it a barley wine, I guess my perception of the beer would change immensely.
I just saw for my beer fest Antwerpen's going to be here, so I'm happy about that now.
Yes.
But you mentioned Lagunitas, and there's a beer that just came out that I freaking adored last year. If you get a chance to check it out from Lagunitas, it's the Undercover Investigation Shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
That's been out here forever. That's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just came back out. It only comes out once a year, Tanya.
Okay. I thought this was like a Mississippi issue. I'm sorry. Carry on.
Hi, Jane.
So, but it's a good one to definitely check out if you happen to see it out there. It's very nice, very tasty, a real nice beer. I think I told you guys about the story when I talked to Lagunitas guys about how they came up with the name of that beer. They actually were shut down for like 2 weeks because one of the guys at the brewery basically tried to sell undercover weed to one of the guys that they were being investigated undercover by feds. And someone tried to sell them weed basically at the brewery. That's what actually shut them down. That's what the name of the beer was about. So
Out of Lagunitas, I'm not surprised.
The Lagunitas Brewery in Chicago. Yeah. But it's a great beer. I think it's fantastic beer. So the Undercover Shutdown's a good one to try.
Undercover Shutdown's a damn fine beer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that being back out now. So I just got it the other day, and it's funny because usually like a 6-pack I think is $10.99 or $11.99, and at our grocery store Kroger, someone put them in the individual bottle rack, so you get a 6-pack for $9.99. It's only a couple of dollars, but it's just funny because like these beers shouldn't be there, but they are, so I'm taking them all.
I believe that if I remember correctly, and I'm just going to do this once in my life. I believe that the 4-pack of the 120-minute was $39.99.
Say
yeah, the 120 is
$39.99 for a 4-pack.
That's crazy. That's just nuts.
Yeah, if at the store that I went to, broke down properly by buying the single bottle. It was $9.99 for one bottle. But just
was it worth it, Eric?
So
Was
what
it worth
I
it,
can tell
Eric?
you guys is, and I know Tanya does this, and I know Tom does this, but if you guys are interested in seeing some of the breweries, if I come across some of the breweries in your area, and you guys want to go check them out, let me know, and I'll get you some information if you want to try to hook up out there with some of the guys.
What was your
Tom, you did some
Yeah,
breweries, and
absolutely.
Tanya's got some video with some of the breweries as well.
What was your question, John?
I was going to say, Eric, was that beer worth the price?
You know what? For me, buying this beer again was for two reasons. One, it has been so long since I've had it, and number two, it's just been such a staple, and people talk about it in the craft beer community, that since like 2011 to 2017, right now, since last week, I haven't had the beer since. And my palate has changed, and I know that I like barley wines and IPAs now. So for me personally, it's night and day in how I perceive the beer, although I still think that it's too boozy for me personally, and I think it's not enough of the hoppy notes that we all love in an IPA. I think it's too boozy and sweet for me. I think it's a much better beer than I initially had when I turned 22 when I tried the beer for the first time, which is a crazy beer to try when you're 22, by the way.
22.
And I also tried
when I was 22, I tell you.
I tried the Worldwide Stout when I was 22 years old.
Bye,
And I thought
guys.
to myself,
Bye. Thanks.
See you, Holly.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming on.
I tried.
All right, go ahead, Thomas Meadow.
I tried the 100 and the Worldwide Stout. That was the same year that I turned 22, and I'm thinking, I like stouts. I like Guinness. Maybe I'll like this Worldwide Stout. It took me 2 hours to drink that beer. I'm sure if I tried it now, it wouldn't take me that long, and it wouldn't be that big of a drinking experience, of that big of a, hard of a beer to drink. But that just kind of shows me that, your palate changes over time, and that's kind of what I like about doing these examinations and doing beer reviews and doing Google Plus and Beer Advocate and Untapped, because you get a dialogue and a diary of how your palate changes over time. And I don't notice that significantly in my palate.
You guys want to go overtime or what?
Let's do it.
All right. So We've been on here for a little bit of time. We're going to take it to the overtime session. Appreciate everybody that's watched. Rod J here in Cincinnati. I'll let you guys all do your sign-offs there, however you want to sign off. Tom out of Missouri.
I'm the Beer Whisperer fan. I hope you enjoyed listening. Talk a whole lot of nonsense, a whole lot of things. And thanks for joining us. TomTheBeerWhisperer.com.
And then Eric.
I am Thomas Metal 75 from the Massachusetts Beer Reviews channel of YouTube. You can find me on the Massachusetts Beer Reviews on YouTube, or if you type in Massachusetts Beer Reviews, I also have the group of Facebook, and I'm located in southeastern Massachusetts with about, 14, 16 inches of snow today.
Quite the haircut, he really is over 21.
Yeah, with the porn stash. And John.
Well, even
Not
with
the first time I've heard that.
Going on.
And John. John.
John again.
I'm
Thanks to us, buddy.
All right.
Hello.
We're going
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Talk to us, Verizon.
Go.
Can you hear me?
Hear me
Yes.
now?
Go.
All right. John Henderson Pierre. Type in JEANH Pierre. You can see my videos on YouTube. I just did a review of Pacifico, and it is quite good. And I placed it on some of the my Facebook, some of the beer groups on Facebook page. Right now, I'm feeling good. I'm watching UCLA and Oregon on ESPN.
And Craig, who made it in finally.
College basketball.
Can't, buddy.
Yeah, I just watching, just listening to you guys. It makes a change.
Hey Ken, how you doing?
Craig.
Yeah, Kent Beerview, Southeast England, over in the UK. So it's kind of on most of social media.
And what time
Obviously,
is it? What time is it over there now?
It's coming up to 3:20 in the morning.
That's dedication, people. That's dedication.
Say that again.
Yes.
What time?
It's 3:20 a.m.
That's for the love of beer right there.
That's some dedication right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, if I
I'm
had
taking
a
that man with me in the
hand,
battle any day of the week. He's down with me any day of the week and going into battle.
Just can't sleep. Just can't sleep. But yeah, so obviously YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all them things. But yeah, check us out. I'll be doing some new cloud water beers next week. So
nice.
So,
and Tanya?
So yeah.
Hey, I'm Tanya Mikowski out of the San Francisco Bay Area. I have a YouTube beer review channel under the same name, but it's hard to find me because, spelling. So it's Tanya with an O. Check me out.
Not the Mikowski part. That's easy. I'm sorry, I threw you off there.
That's it. That's all I got.
And of course, obviously, you're on my station, so it's Rod J. BeerVentures.
Rod, that's Rod with an O.
With an O, with an O, with an O. And make sure you check out the website, www.rodjbeerventures.com. That's got the blog. That's got the links to all the stuff, Instagram, Untapped, Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 all the social media stuff. And you can catch up with a lot of good things there, catch up with a lot of these guys and stuff like that. Check us out on Facebook pages as well. So we got the Beer Coalition out there. And a lot of good stuff happening. So with that all being said, appreciate you swinging by. As Eric would usually say, if you're still watching, what do you say, Eric?
I like to say, until next time, keep tasting those great beers. Cheers.
No,
everybody.
You say if you're still watching.
If you're still watching, I get you now. If you're still watching at this point in the video, congratulations.
If you're still watching, we're sorry you don't have a life.
But we appreciate you, and hopefully you had a little bit of fun. You learned a few things, and make sure you check out everybody's videos. And every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, we usually do these shows. This one is actually well, about 2 hours or so, but we never know where it's going
That's
to go.
good. That's
If you
good.
catch us on the,
That's
if you
good.
catch us on the Beer and BS, you're probably looking at 3 to 4 possibly, but anytime you chime in, it's a good time for sure. So thanks for tuning in. Keep drinking good craft beers and cheers.
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 Good night, everybody. Enjoy.